Imagine you dropped an animated pilot where only 2 scenes are fully animated and it still got insanely positive reception and 2 million views within its first week of release. Well, that's exactly what happened to Pretty Pretty Please, I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl. Created by Disney storyboard artist Kiana Cansmith, hopefully I pronounced that right, it follows a magical girl who, go figure, doesn't want to be one. The carefully structured simplicity of the way this premise is presented in the pilot is not only what got it to connect with me and millions of others, but probably worked for you too. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to another quick joint, a series where a video is too long to be YouTube short, but too short to be a full-length video. Well, let's get into the episode. The episode opens with our main protagonist, Aika, immediately telling us, the audience, on how she'd like for us and those around her to perceive who she is.
Hi everyone, I'm Aika, a normal girl of average talent living an unspectacular life.
Despite most of this episode not being animated, each board has so much life to it you almost get immersed to a point where you forget that it's an animatic. The background music is really good. The glittery chords that open the episode fit the vibe of what's being put on screen perfectly. This kid that Aika runs into by the school entrance decides to show her around after being asked to do so. She kind of talks in this laid back, somewhat dry tone that I definitely want to touch on later, since it hints towards something we learn about her character later on. Anyway, in the next scene, Aika finishes her test early and notices a star flying outside, so she goes to the bathroom to try and get away from him since she knows he's there because of something relating to her powers. As she leaves out, she tells this teacher something that might be the only worthwhile moment she'll have as a teacher for the rest of the school year, judging by how tired she looks already on the first damn day.
You gotta finish your quiz before leaving the classroom.
Thanks, miss, see you tomorrow!
But
You're doing great work. I love you.
I needed that today. I'll let it slide.
Like, why do they even have a test on the first day anyway? Aika, unfortunately for her, runs into the star from earlier, who apparently she locked inside of a box. She did all this because she wants to be a normal kid. The fact that she aced a test on her first day, finished it early, and hasn't made a fool of herself yet or been picked on by anybody as a freshman, that sounds like a damn good first day to me. And she would probably agree with all that, at least until the star shows up and reminds her of the one thing she's trying to get away from. She sees her role as a magical girl almost in the same way somebody sees a dead-end 9-to-5 job that they do to make ends meet. It might be the dream life for somebody else, but a passionless obligation for the person we see participating in it. This interesting setup goes even further as we proceed through the episode and ties into the whole simplicity angle I teased earlier, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, this scene ends with her telling the star named Hoshi to f off and let her live her life, which he does after giving her a star to use to power up just in case niggas try to run up on her. Good looks, Hoshi, good looks.
Call me if you need me. What was that? Nothing, don't worry about it. I think my kidneys are backwards.
Also, how is she still alive? Yo, kidneys backwards, nigga, what? At lunchtime, Aika decides to sit next to the girl from earlier that she met at the school's entrance. She turns out to be socially awkward at first, but they hit it off. As soon as she starts to talk about the stuff that she's interested in, like this in-universe Sailor Moon stand-in manga, that's a really complex way to say knockoff, but you get the point. She lights up with personality, a vibe that we didn't get from her early in the episode. This makes it clear that she's not used to actually being able to open up to people and usually fades into the background so she doesn't irritate people, like as a way of protecting herself basically. But Aika likes Zira for who she is, even going as far to call her a loser as a term of endearment after Zira uses it towards herself in a self-defeating but simultaneously humorous way. Despite this being such a minute part of the episode, it's one of my favorite moments from it. Zira isn't completely comfortable in who she is, but her being closed off and out of the way is kind of what Aika aspires to be to a certain extent. So this small interaction represents that, as well as just being a genuinely funny scene because of the all-induced optimistic way Aika calls Zira a
Real-life high school loser!
So I guess it's not such a minute scene after all. In a perfect world for Aika, the day would continue being normal, but instead this nigga shows up. Since this villain named Eclipse shows up, Aika's role as a Star Guardian gets revealed to Zira, and now she has no choice but to transform and save the day. You probably expected some cool ass transformation scene, but it never happens. The fact that this doesn't happen communicates to the audience in a very simple, see, I told you I was gonna get to it, subtly subversive way that all this magical shit feels like work to her. no joy in it at all. She doesn't even use her cool wand, just this boring ass thing. She does the bare minimum to kick the bad guy's ass and gets on with her day. Now that Zero realizes that Aika's a magical girl just like her favorite manga, it makes her admire her even more.
And you're a black magical girl? I know that's right.
Oh yeah, and that too. After this, they proceed to go to class like nothing happened. How a school wouldn't go into lockdown immediately after something like this is beyond me, but whatever. This is America. I think that is where the show takes place, right? I don't even remember the name of the town there, whatever. Anyway, as I rewatched this episode when working on this video, I realized what aspect of it made me immediately click with it. Something that hadn't fully clicked in my mind until now. The reason why this pilot works is because a character having powers that doesn't want them in itself isn't a completely unique setup. Usually when a character has this perspective, another character in the story or an event that happens forces them to accept the reality and make peace with it, or some chosen one type shit. Or sometimes we'll see the opposite happen, where the character wants to be a hero but isn't immediately put into a situation where that can happen, like Luz from the Owl House or Deku from My Hero Academia. But in Magical Girl, despite Hoshi trying to get Aika to see the importance of her role as Star Guardian, or Zero admiring this aspect of Aika due to it mirroring her favorite manga, she just doesn't give a shit. The way she looks as she nonchalantly beats the shit out of Eclipse is the way a grown adult looks at a phone bill they forgot to pay. You can tell she'd rather be doing anything else, and in today's world with a struggling economy and possible recession, people being put into careers more out of obligation than passion is becoming increasingly more common. So seeing this mirrored through a magical cartoon 15-year-old and not having it ruined with the usual, this is my reality as a hero and I might as well force myself into enjoying it for the better of the people, and it can probably be relatable to a lot of people, and I think it's the reason this pilot has been able to connect with so many people in such little time. Its subtle subversion of expectations with the way it presents its premise is done in such a simple way that says so much at the same time. And to top it off, the way Aika has a transformation sequence for her normal outfit instead of her magical one is just pure genius, no pun intended. Also, this Eclipse dude might be more of a threat than we think, according to the last scene, so I'm interested to see how that turns out. And this end credit song is just pure lo-fi R&B beauty. I would play it, but you know, I don't want to get copyright claimed and all that. It's just every aspect of this episode just comes together so cohesively, and it's why it instantly clicks with a majority of the people that have seen it, including me. Creator herself recently posted that she's back working full-time at Disney, so she doesn't fully know if she'll make more of this show yet, but I still highly recommend you support her in any way you can in hopes that we'll get more one day. Anyway, this has been a quick joint. Subscribe to the channel, follow my IG and Blue Sky for more updates on videos like these, and until next time, I'm out this mug.